Alright, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Shimei Shai, double honors to the apostles. It was a great millstone that rule well and taught us the truth, and blessings to the elect of the nation Israel. It's Brother Cal coming with a very short lesson, Lord willing to be edifying. I'm just going to play this and I'll come back because this is another reason why the majority of our people, especially in Babylon the Great, are going to get put to death. And they need to, because they're being wicked and they're trying to promote that wickedness. And this video you're going to see is about the Met Gala. And the Met Gala is just one big ritual, man. You know? But this was the highlights of this year's Met Gala.
Because look what he wore at the Met Gala. These celebrities sure do love to humiliate themselves.
The most masculine men, but not that I'm one of them, but the most masculine men wear lava and skirts.
Mr. Idris, can you see the fashion piece right here, sir? Can you see the front?
You don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about, does following the ritual work? Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear.
Last year it was Shabuzi. This year it's The Rock, Damson Idris, and a whole bunch of other black men degrading themselves at the Met Gala. And it's not even just the men this year. Did y'all see what Doechii wore? And then Serena Williams? Why would her team not tell her how crazy this looks? And let's not forget Cardi B. She was literally dressed as an intestine. Now, we all heard about the so-called dress ritual, where they allegedly pressure male celebrities to wear dresses and skirts, like it's some kind of symbolic emasculation ceremony. But now, Cat Williams is saying people miss the point completely. According to Cat, the dress, or any outrageous outfit, is a loyalty test, a sick little game of how much are you willing to degrade yourself to stay in our club. It's about obedience, submission, and breaking you down so you'll say yes to anything they ask next.
That's what makes information so powerful is, you don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about, does following the ritual work? Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses, and everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is.
But then Kat went even deeper, saying all of it. Celebrities wearing weird stuff, getting humiliated on purpose, those fake controversies you see every other week, and even this whole push they keep calling the trans agenda. He says it's all connected. He claimed it's tied to Baphomet worship. Like the elites in Hollywood are literally doing occult rituals while we're sitting here arguing about outfits.
So 20 years ago, I knew that transgenders was going to be a thing. It wasn't because I was a prophet. It's just I had gotten so much information that I understood that things are secular. So I understood that the earliest I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender. And so I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the transgender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his ring.
Really?
And it said both of those things. So I knew that both of those things would become popular in the future. And that somehow calling people the goat would be normalized over the sheep being always the most popular reference.
Now let's
And he's spot on. Spot on. Sheep and the goats. So we know that the Heavenly Father's son, alright, he's going to separate what? The sheep from the goats. Alright? The sheep being our people, the elect. Alright, and the goats being these other nations, man. Alright, and that's why they always have this reference towards Baphomet, because what does Baphomet look like? He looks like a goat. Alright, and he's, if you look at the statue, you're going to see it in the rest of this clip. You know, Baphomet is actually wearing a skirt. You know? So, whether Cat Williams is an inside man or whatever, it doesn't matter. He's bringing out a lot of truth here. Alright? Scripture right there. I see. That's it. It's in Ephesians. You know, Ephesians 5 and 11. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. See, so have no fellowship with the unfruitful works, alright, of darkness, but expose them. And that's what Cat Williams is doing, whether he's controlled opposition or not. You know, he's actually exposing the wickedness that they're doing. Alright? Alright, now look at the word reproof. Alright, reproof is a formal verb meaning to scold, alright, reprimand, or express disapproval of someone's behavior, usually gently or with the aim of correction. Okay, so once him or anyone else is exposing this wickedness, alright, they're exposing them. They're not having works with unfruitful people who are down with this satanic agenda. Alright, he's scolding them, he's reprimanding them, he's expressing his disapproval, alright, of their behavior and what they're doing. Okay, he's correcting them. Alright, so that's what he's doing. Ephesians 5 and 11. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Alright, okay, and that's what he's doing, because that Met Gala is very demonic. Alright, and because our people are so talented, because they're Israelites, alright, they're going to use Israelites like The Rock, you know, and other sellouts to promote their wicked agenda. Alright, men dressed as women, women dressed as men. You know, that's the unfruitful works of what? Darkness, man. Okay, continue here. This one. Alright, there you go, that's this one.
Let's talk about this year's Met Gala, because it was a mess. Almost nobody was on theme. Everyone was dressed in basic fits, no creativity. And then, of course, there was the obligatory man in dress. This year it was The Rock, who wore a skirt along with a $3.3 million watch. And when asked about it, he said that in his culture, only the manliest men wear skirts.
Great. Well, you know, what I shared with Tom Brown's team is that, you know, at first they sent the illustrations over, and hey, is DJ going to be cool with this pleated skirt? And I was like, well, look, you know, in our culture, Polynesian culture, we rock lava lavas, we rock skirts. The most masculine men, but not that I'm one of them, but the most masculine men wear lava lavas and skirts.
And look, it's true that in many Polynesian cultures, men wear a wraparound garment that looks like a skirt as part of their traditional attire. But The Rock didn't dress in traditional Polynesian garb. He dressed in what looked like a woman's suit. And if you check what people online are saying about The Rock's Met Gala look, they're not buying the whole "it's my tradition" storyline. Someone on X wrote, "Hey look, they finally got The Rock in a dress. He held out longer than most, but the humiliation ritual for many men of color in Hollywood remains virtually undefeated. Hopefully, this gets him a couple of big movies." And another person took it further, saying, "When you see a male celebrity in a skirt, it means their bank account is getting low, and they're offering up the booty to the Hollywood gays for money and movie roles." And then there was Damson Idris out here frolicking around like a girl. He just got dumped by Lori Harvey, so he went to the Met alone. And while he didn't wear a skit, people still thought he was giving feminine energy. And y'all, some people even mistook him for Lil Nas X.
Mr. Idris, can you see the fashion piece right here, sir? Can you see the front? Mr. Idris,
The theme for this year's Met Gala was costume art, and the corresponding dress code for guests was fashion is art. So, did Damson even try? Now, ASAP Rocky, on the other hand, he definitely tried, but that doesn't mean it looks good. In fact, people are saying things like, "I'm glad he's finally the bad bee he's always desired to be." Someone else said he looked like he pulled up in a pink Victoria's Secret bathrobe. Now let's talk about women for a second, because I can't get over this Doechii look. Just why would she do this? Is she wearing invisible Balenciaga heels? Like, what was the purpose if not to humiliate her? One fan commented on Doechii's look, "This is disturbing to see. Doechii is looking like a slave at an auction. Very disappointing." And we can't forget about Erin Rose Phillip. She's the first black transgender woman with quadriplegic cerebral palsy to be signed to a major modeling agency. And she was invited to this year's Met Gala. And no shade to her, but doesn't this feel like they're mocking her? Do you think that the agency that signed her, or Anna Wintour, who invited her to the Met Gala, actually cares about her? It's just a display of pseudo-virtue, and this person's unfortunate circumstance is being used to push an agenda. So let's look at the bigger picture. According to what Cat Williams said about the industry humiliation rituals and the rumored Baphomet worship, the Met Gala isn't just a fancy fundraiser for the Costume Institute. It's a modern-day ball where celebrities embarrass themselves. The theme doesn't matter. What matters is the hidden rule. Surrender your dignity. Look at the outfits. They're often grotesque, uncomfortable, revealing, or dehumanizing. Feathers, latex, chains, exaggerated silhouettes that make them look like a puppet or a sacrifice. It looks ritualistic. The celebrity is stripped of their everyday glam image and remade into something strange, even monstrous. The celebrities are paraded up those steps like an offering, enduring mockery and memes, all while smiling. Why would they agree? Well, according to Kat, it's because participation signals loyalty. It's a test. Will you wear the absurd, humiliating costume we design? Will you let the world laugh at you, call you crazy, while you stand there frozen in couture? Passing means access to deals, protection, fame. Failing.
So this is what you have to do in this wicked kingdom. More or less humiliate yourself, you know, and that's a Freemason ritual to humiliate, you know, the person that comes in the Masonic order and so forth. But for some reason they're always using Jake, Israelites, to push forward this agenda of confusion, you know. But the Heavenly Father gave us a dress code, all right, the men and the women, okay. So the Rock saying, "Oh yeah, in my culture, you know, the toughest men wear skirts." He knows what he's talking about. It's not the same thing, man. All right. Oh yeah, the people in Hawaii and all that stuff. Yeah, some, you know, they wear this kind of like top that looks like a you know, a skirt and so forth, etc. But you saw in that clip that it's not, you know, it's not like everyone in Hawaii and all these places actually wear them. Okay, they don't wear them that much. So him saying that, "Oh yeah, well, you know, in my culture, the strongest men, you know, wear things like that," that's all BS. You know, it's a ritual. Just open your mouth and and tell us the truth. But they can't, because the truth is not in them. Just like their master. It's Deuteronomy 22:5. All right, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. All right, like trousers. Okay, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. What's a woman's garment? A dress. All right, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy power. All right, so then abomination to Heavenly Father, and that's why they're gonna get put to death. You know, because they sold their soul, man. And that's what you have to do when you sell your soul. All right, this is Mark 8, verse 36. All right, for what shall it profit a man if he gain the whole world? Oh, like their Hollywood opportunities, being in movies and being in television programs, you know, a lot of money in your bank account, etc. You know, to have all those things, they have to go through these humiliation rituals. So for what profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Question mark. And they've clearly sold their soul. All right. So these are people not to look up for, no, not to look up to. This is a cautionary tale. All right, to obey your Creator. All right, because their latter end is going to be death, plain and simple. All right. So the Heavenly Father has told us what to wear, including our women. Okay, this is 1 Timothy 2:9. All right. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. All right. Was there modest apparel with that black woman, Ducci or whatever her name is? She was half naked. That's not modest apparel. All right. With shamefacedness and sobriety, and not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array. Okay, so you're supposed to what's it called? You're supposed to wear modest apparel if you're an Israelite woman. They're not doing that, and that's why these celebrities are called influencers. Once you see them do it, then a lot of our people, and not just us, other races, will follow them. That's the whole goal. All right, to turn everything upside down. When you look at the Baphomet statue, it has one hand up and one hand down. What is above shall be below. Okay? So it's all wickedness that they're doing. And if they don't do these things, they lose everything. So they're basically celebrity influenced slaves, man. They got no freedom whatsoever. Okay? So a woman's supposed to wear modest apparel. You know? And the guy said, this is like a slave auction. Well, it is, because they're slaves to Satan. Okay, this is 1 Corinthians 11:14. So the Heavenly Father has given us a dress code. All right. Why not obey Him? You know what happened when we didn't obey Him? We ended up on a slave ship. All right. So this is not the time to lollygag. It's the time to get right with the Heavenly Father. And another theme of that Met Gala and our people in the so-called black community, a lot of these men have long hair, which is a disgrace. 1 Corinthians 11:14. All right. Doeth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him. All right. And you look at all these rappers and these blacks that are in the entertainment industry. Many of them have got locks, dreadlocks, braids, long hair like a woman. Which is what? It's a shame unto them. So the Heavenly Father has given us a dress code. So obey it, because the fear of the Lord is what? The beginning of wisdom. Screw all them wicked sellout Israelites. They're laughing today. But believe me, when all hell breaks loose, they won't be laughing anymore. Alright, so I pray you're edified to the next lesson. Shalom.